welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for coming back again to watch and see what I have here. I want to appreciate especially the commenters on my last video. It was so motivating, it was beautiful, and it is one of those things that is making me come back to make this video. Thanks so much for encouraging me. Thanks so much for the advice. Thanks so much for the ginger and everything. For new timers, here I am, Oluwakolawole Precious, and here on the Already God YouTube channel, I talk about different things, really, from myself to books to lifestyle to Christianity, people, and just everything in general, everything about me. And in today's video, I'm coming to give you a full gist of how school has been for me so far. So let's dive right into what we have here. And if you know you haven't subscribed yet, please and please make sure you subscribe, because you can't just watch and go like that. You have to subscribe. Thank you. All right, background story. I'm a 200 level student here in Obafemi Awolowo University. So I'm just in first semester, so that just means I'm just coming from part 1. I'm just coming from drinking milk to eating meat, and the experience so far has been a whole lot. It has been a lot. I wasn't prepared for this at all, the stress and everything. I just thought it's just nice to come up with a video to make, number one, to just relax, because I'm about to start my exams on Monday. So if I can edit this video and post today, I'll be starting my exams in 2 days time. But if not, I'm about to start my exams, and it has been intense, reading and reading, doing this, doing that, just trying to make sure that you cover, and also to encourage maybe my fellow classmates. It is not this time there is no motivation anywhere. So I just want to make this video to show my classmates, to tell, or even students around the world, that it is okay to feel this way, but it's not just okay to get overcome by what is happening around. It will be so sad if after the semester and your result is released, you are saying something you don't like, and you begin to feel like, oh, I wish I did this, or I wish I did that. And also, just to give you guys a gist of what has been happening, I'm a first timer 200 level student, let me put it that way, and a lot of responsibilities has been shouldered upon me from doing more intense studying. Now we are not back in part 1. Our exams and tests were OBJ, about that, just pick and pick and pick and pick. But now we have to write. Now we are doing German questions. If you don't know what German question means, German questions are just simply filling the gap, where your lecturers will give you a test, obviously, and you just put dash dash dash. And the last test I did, there were a lot of dashes there, and I'm like, kilo day, they want us to put the whole notes in our head. But thank God for God, I was able to answer some of them correctly. So the aim of this question is just to make sure that you are reading your book, because in part 1 you can just do a surface skimming and you still go to the exam hall and do well, but it is not possible in part 2 and upper, because you have to read. By the time they ask you, put 4 dashes in a question. So if you are not familiar with your books, just know that you can't get that question right. Okay, let's talk about those things that actually made me tense. How I felt when I knew that, okay, yes, I'm now in part 2. Back at home, after part 1 second semester break, I was like, oh, I'm in part 2. But when I got to school, I knew that, oh, okay, part 2 is not even just by mouth. There was a lot of work to do. I took 8 courses this semester. EGL 201, that's phonetics and phonology, introduction to phonetics and phonology. EGL 203, that's grammar, advanced grammar 1. I took Lit 201, that's literature from the beginning to the Renaissance. I took Yo 213, introduction to oral literature in Yoruba. I took this particular course, CSC 221, and this course on its own actually contributed to my hard times here on campus. You see those courses I mentioned, I'm an English and education student, so I know what I signed up for already. I'll do English, I'll do phonology, I'll do grammar, I'll do phonology, I'll do literature. But when I opened my portal to register for my courses for the semester, and I saw CSC, computer appreciation, I'm like, why am I doing computer? When I even saw Yoruba, I was like, hey, God have mercy, Yoruba. But that Yoruba, you can actually pick either Yoruba or drama. We call it dra here. And I didn't want to pick dra because of what dra showed me last semester. And people have been saying, oh, Yoruba is nice, Yoruba is this, just pick it, it's an A course. So I picked it, and I'm suspecting it's an A course, but one just has to read very well. So I picked all that. My educational courses: ESC 201, that's History of Education; ESC 203, Psychology of Education; ALA 207, one of the courses I enjoyed this semester, that's Women's Learning and Social Sustainability; and finally, what's the last one? I think I've mentioned them all. So doing CSC 221, that's computer, made destabilized me at first. It was dealing with binary. We had to calculate, we had to do some calculations, and that's one of the reasons I'm here studying English. I don't like anything calculations. So when I first saw that, I was, oh God, what was this? But I thank God for God, with constant practice, studying, meeting this person, meeting that person, and they made it easier in the sense that we're given assignments, and that assignment was over 20. Assignments you can ask for help. It was actually okay. Then we did our test, which was over 20. Then at least it helped. And the test too, I just read, I knew that okay, this is actually not my field. So if I want to do very well in this course, I have to study harder. Then I did, and to God be the glory. Then there's this other course, the 201, that's literature from the beginning to the Renaissance. We had tons of poems to read, from Beowulf to Canterbury Tales to, we had other William Shakespeare, Andrew Marvell, John Donne poems to read. We read Othello, we read Dr. Faustus, oh my God. And each poem is actually from a particular era. That's from the Anglo-Saxon, the beginning, all through to the Renaissance. And it was a lot. It got to a point I thought I would not be able to read those poems till we write our exams, because it was too much. And that is where Enjoyyyyy tutors comes in. Enjoyyyyy tutor is a tutorial I attend here on campus. If you watch the other video I made, I talked about Enjoyyyyy tutors. That was for part 1 students, and as a part 2 student, so Enjoyyyyy tutors is really helpful, really helpful, and I recommend it for you if you're an OAU student and you're taking these arts courses. All right, to God be the glory, I was able to at least run through those poems. I read them. In fact, a day to my exam, that was when I started and finished reading Dr. Faustus, and the test came. A day to my test, the test came, and it was okay. To God be the glory, at least I tried my best. Then also, being in part 2 also came with me becoming a tutor. In Enjoyyyyy tutors, they recruit tutors every semester. Let me just say, because we recruited tutors in our set, and I was one of them recruited. So it has been a lot. I'm taking part 1 students literature, lit 101, that's introduction to prose fiction, because I love prose. I love it, it's everything. So teaching them prose was a big work on its own. I had to read their books, I had to study them, I had to analyze, and also come back to teach them, answer questions, do this, do that. Oh, it was a lot, but it's actually interesting because I love teaching personally, and this also helps me to enhance my teaching skills. Very soon, in 2nd semester now, I'm going for teaching practice, and it has its own mark on its own, and I will not want to do badly. So that's why I want to thank Enjoyyyyy tutors for giving me this opportunity to develop myself as a teacher. I've seen my mistakes. I've seen, okay, as a teacher you should do this, as a teacher you shouldn't do that. Then also, something happened this semester, impromptu tests. They were giving us back to back. Some were useful, some were not useful, and there was this test that we did, and we were just informed 6 o'clock in the evening. The test was, let's say the test is tomorrow, we were told 6 o'clock this evening. Then after that test, we had another test the next day. It was ESC 201 and ESC 203. Shit, I could not sleep. In fact, let me say, none of us slept. None of my mates slept, because we had to read. It was about years, cram years in our head. And tell me why we got to the exams on and we're saying future questions. After dealing with past questions, we got to the exam hall and we're saying future questions. It was not funny. Everybody was frowning. But the lecturer came to class the next day and she was like, oh, you guys did well. Okay, if you say we did well, what are we to say we did not do well? I want to thank God for that. Then after everything, our real test came. We've written 2 tests like that. Then the remaining 6 came back to back. We had 2 tests. We did literature, a lot. This semester was just, but I want to thank God for God. Our idea 201, which is one of those courses we fear most, was split into 2, over 20 over 20. And the first test was, that's a walkover, but the second test was where the real work is. But sincerely, if you've studied very well, at least it will be kind of easier for you. And as a person self, I think I made some silly mistakes, but I trust God that grace is going to cover for me. Then there's this particular, this year 213, oh shit, that I said is an A course earlier. We actually had to do some presentations because it's oral literature. We had to present, had to do some things, and we're divided into groups: Shango Pipe, Igbala Sisin or Oku Pipe, Ijala or Shu, and everything. And should I say fortunately or fortunately, I was grouped into Oku Pipe, that we had to, in Yoruba land, when someone of, when someone of caliber and timber and caliber dies, they will do this big celebration. And because of that celebration, on Makpori, like, they will greet the person, they will hail the person, talk about what he has done, and they'll just try to like make his head swell sharp before going to heaven. And that was the group I was. It was a lot. We had to chant. I was not part of the chanters. We had to cry. Like, if you see me on the stage, I fell down. I acted the role of a villager that was coming from the market, and she heard that something happened, and you see the way I just scattered off facts. It was interesting, at the same time stressful. All right, I think I've given you guys at least the major things that happened in this semester. Apart from those minor things, these are the major things that happened to me this semester. And if you're an Obafemi Awolowo student, you can drop your own experience in the comment section. I hope this will be interesting to watch. And if you are yet to subscribe, I say it again, please make sure you do subscribe and click on the notification bell to get notified each time I drop a new video. I think I'll be drawing the curtain here. Bye, thanks for watching.